Hello BookTube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching Books I'm Not Reading. I'm here today to do a kind of August, partial September TBR. Normally I do my TBRs by the quarter, but Jane Austen July, I had to have a separate TBR for that. So this is the rest of the third quarter, and I also thought I'd give you a little bit update about a year of reading one's own, which is a project that Jason and I decided to take on in 2020, pre-pandemic. Any idea of what the year was going to hold? We decided to focus really on trying to read from our home library, with a couple of exceptions. I have kind of an ambitious pile of books here just for only 2 months, because so we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. But I do have the opportunity to actually complete some of the goals that I had for myself in this quarter. So I'd like to do that and not be crammed at the end of the year trying to scramble to get some things read. So the first one of the goals I had was to read the book that I've owned the longest, which I thought I had completed when I read a collection of Gloria Steinem's essays and a collection of Raymond Carver short stories, and then I woke up in the middle of the night and remembered this book, Pete Hamill's News as a Verb, Journalism at the End of the 20th Century. So this is a short little thing, and as much as I don't want to think about the news right now, I really should read this and then just decide what to do with it next. So hopefully, I really feel like that's a very, very easy thing to accomplish in the next couple of months. Another one was to read, I owned 3 books in this series of Bloomsbury group books. This is The Brontes Went to Woolworths. So I've read 2 other ones, but this was written by, Rachel Ferguson, and it's about 3 sisters in 1930s London. And so I am actually really excited to read this book. The other 2 I kind of had mixed feelings about, so we'll see. Maybe this one's the one to hold on to. This book, If I Die in a Combat Zone by Tim O'Brien, actually meets 2 different goals. One is as part of my Curious Adventure TBR, which is a year-long project to read more nonfiction, and it of course is hosted by Natalie at Curious Reader. And this one was to read a nonfiction book along with a fiction book. So in June I read July by Tim O'Brien, and I'm reading this as a pairing with it, although in hindsight I think I may have paired the wrong Tim O'Brien books together. That's okay, because one of my other goals this year was to read all of the Tim O'Brien books that we own. So once I finish this one, then that goal will be completed, which even though this is not a cheerful topic, Tim O'Brien is one of my favorite writers. I think he's outstanding writing, so I'm looking forward in a weird way to this one. You've seen this one before. I still have not read My Father's Tears, which is a short story collection by John Updike. Jason bought this for me, and I feel like I've read enough Updike in my life already, but what the heck. So I am going to try to just slowly chip away at this one, because it just keeps staring at me from the bookshelves. I also had the goal to read something from all of our bookshelves, which I wish I could give you some idea. Like, our library is very large, and so I wanted to read something from each bookshelf, like not shelf, but like bookcase. Maybe that's a better way to describe it. And all of our YA books are in a cupboard off to the side. And I did want to read some of those because I felt like there were some things in there that I've owned a long time, and it's just really time to get to. And then there are some silly things in there as well. So the first one is Blood Red Horse. I think we've established on my channel that for some reason the word horse is like a trigger for me, and I just am interested instantly curious. This is the first in a trilogy by K.M. Grant. But I think I've tried reading this before and I didn't get very far, so I've got to give it another go. I'm not terribly excited about the line on the cover, 2 boys, 1 girl, the adventure of a lifetime, which sounds like a lot of other books that fall under this YA category. But it can still be done well, and so I will go into it with an open mind, and we'll see how this turns out. The other YA book that I really want to read is the 4th book in a series called The Miracle Girls. So this is Love Will Keep Us Together. It's by Ann Dayton and Mae Vanderbilt. I'm pretty sure those are pen names because I feel like Jason like knows the authors or knew them. I don't think he's in touch with them anymore, but I don't know if he stumbled across our blog or something like that, but this series, we discovered it when we were working for Barnes & Noble, and it was really great because it is, I want to say like a Christian inspiration maybe is the best way to describe it, but like for teens. And there's very little of that out there. And their books are not preachy, they're not proselytizing or anything like that, but it was really nice, a really great thing to be able to recommend, especially to parents who are concerned about the other books in the YA section. So anyway, we own all 4 of them. I would love to give them to somebody who would enjoy them and appreciate them, but I don't think Jason is willing to let them go. So we'll just keep them in the cupboard. But this series has been hanging over me for a long time, and just really need to read it and be done with it. So. Okay, and then speaking of two boys, 1 girl, The Adventure of a Lifetime, I found the next 2 books at a library book sale, and my heart skipped a beat because these were books I read when I was growing up. Not these particular ones, but this is part of a whole series that's published by Sunfire and Scholastic, and they always, so it's always. The title is always the name of a girl, a young woman. I think, let's see, one of these is she's 16, and let's see, I'm trying to see how old she is. Doesn't say on the back of the book. But it always involves some kind of historical event, something in American history. I remember reading one about the blizzard in New York, hurricane in Galveston, Texas, the Oregon Trail. She's Megan here. Our heroine is off to Alaska, and let's see, Diana is living in New Orleans at the time of the Louisiana Purchase. So every cover has the girl on the cover. Let's see, a guy on this side, a guy on that side, and then some kind of like, there's like the historical part is at the bottom here. So I don't know what happened to all of my copies of this series. I didn't own the whole series by any means. One of these is number 16 and one of these is number 29. But they were very clean books and did intrigue me about some different historical events. But when I was growing up, but I'm pretty sure I read them for the, this is all pre, oh my gosh, Twilight and Hunger Games, where, the girl has to decide between, one guy or the other. So yeah, there was only one that was a little bit weird where the main character's brothers were off to the side. I'm like, well, clearly she's not going to choose her brothers over this other hunky guy on the side. So anyway, I found these at a library book sale. I will read them and enjoy them. But I would love to know if any of you read any of these books, because you'll instantly recognize the covers. Yeah, so I'm sure I'll be able to donate them back to the library. I can sell them again when I'm done with them. But it was just kind of a fun find. And speaking of the library, so as I was saying, I gave myself sort of 2 exceptions to use the library this year before I knew what 2020 was going to look like. One was the latest of the Pulitzer Prizes. And the other one was Shakespeare plays, particularly because September is Shaketube, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. But I went to the library last weekend and to pick up the latest Pulitzer Prize winner for this year, The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead. This is his 2nd Pulitzer Prize, the other one being Underground Railroad. So that's a very big deal to win the Pulitzer Prize twice. I'm kind of surprised that this is as short as it is, but I definitely want to read this this year. I don't want to fall behind. If you're new to my channel, I have read all of the books that have won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction. It was previously called the Pulitzer Prize for the novel. So that was kind of a reading project I took on, 12 years ago. It took me a little over 2 years to read all of the ones that I hadn't read. And since then, I've tried really, really hard to keep up with whatever the latest book is. So looking forward to reading this one, especially since I've read The Underground Railroad. And this will definitely be the next thing that I start to read. I will say, though, that going to the library was a nightmare. And so I am not going back to check out Shakespeare plays because it was, there was signage everywhere about social distancing. The staff were wearing masks, but patrons are not required to. And I'm telling you, you come around a corner, you can't see if somebody's right there. Like I said, there were signs everywhere, which I did appreciate, but nobody was following them. So I am not going back to the library for the foreseeable future, even to check out Shakespeare. And Shakespeare is one of the things in this whole year of reading one's own. Jason and I realized, we don't have enough of it. We need more Shakespeare. So I think that will be something that at the end of the year, we will make some amends there. But it brings me to September, which is Shaketube. So excited. It's a month-long celebration of Shakespeare. This year there are 4 moderators, and one of them is Jason, so I kind of have a tiny inside track as to what plays are going to be chosen. But the truth is, I just, I may have to go rogue a bit this year and read some plays that aren't things that the moderators are talking about. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet, so we'll just hold off on that and see what happens. I would like to read something else Shakespeare related, because we do own a lot of Shakespeare related books, and I'm thinking about reading, if I have time, Germaine Greer's Shakespeare's Wife, which is nonfiction. It kind of looks like a novel, but Germaine Greer is a feminist writer, and she is talking about Anne Hathaway, and there's discussion of history and social context and that kind of stuff related to Shakespeare's Wife. So I may, if I can, add this to my reading. Okay, so that's enough for me. Book 2, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I will talk to you soon. Let me know in the comment section down below if you've read any of these, what your thoughts are, what things you're looking forward to in the months ahead. So to reading. Talk to you soon.